Hello everyone and welcome to PassionVines TV. I'm your host Michael Bray, and we are becoming the most competitive and respected wine experience in the world by connecting our passion with yours. And today we have a very special guest, Emilio Mignucci of DiBruno Brothers out of Philadelphia. And Emilio, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You bet. For those of you who know us, you know we partnered up with DiBruno Brothers about 3 months ago, and we've had an enormous amount of success by carrying their cheeses. And Emilio's here today just to shed a little light on what cheeses we have for tonight's tasting.
So Michael was I have to take my list because I forget the names all the time. But Michael was gracious enough to ask me to come in and do a tasting, and for me it's always fun. You give me the wines and the tasting notes, and sometimes I get the tasting wines, or I go out and get them, or I'll come by and swing by with Michael and taste some of the wines there and talk about the flavors, and it gets me thinking about the flavors that I'm looking for in the cheeses to pair up with them. So this selection was pretty easy. This selection was pretty easy because what we like to do, and Michael and PassionVines is very much like the DiBruno Brothers. There's a way to taste them in a progression. So we like to start with lighter styles or sparkling wines first, and then progress from 2 whites to 3 reds, and increasing flavors, intensity, and tannins. So what we have here is we decided to mix this up, do cheeses from around the world here. And for the selection of wine, should we talk about the first wine and the first cheese, the second wine, the second cheese? You want to do it like that?
Wine number 1, Bob, can you got this here? Mm-hmm. Domaine Barmes Buecher. This is a Cremant d'Alsace from the Alsace region in France.
Now, because this is a Cremant, the bubbles are really fine and really pleasant, very, very nice, very simple. It's a great starter wine. I love this one. And what I'm looking for is a cheese that melds nicely with it, that's going to have a little bit of fruitiness to it, but a lighter flavor. And I tend to like buffalo milk cheeses, like fresh Mozzarella di Bufala with sparkling wines. It's for me, it's always, when I'm in Italy, I like to drink the Prosecco and have Mozzarella di Bufala. And that is where I went with this and the tasting. So the first cheese that we're going to have with that is a Moringhello di Bufala, which is slightly earthy, but with a rich creaminess that's on the lighter side. So it's not overpowering, and it's a great starter cheese.
Excellent. Wine number 2, we're tasting Domaine de la Potine, which is 100% Sauvignon Blanc and 100% stainless steel.
Sauvignon Blanc is always great. Love Sauvignon Blancs. Sauvignon Blancs scream out to me a little bit of that herbaceous character. So I like to go goat's milk cheeses. One of our favorites right now, and it's been beautiful for the last couple of weeks when we've been bringing it in, is the Queso Leonora. Queso Leonora from Spain has this kind of light, slightly fruity, little bit acidic flavor to it, so it's going to melt nicely with the Sauvignon Blanc, and the richness of the Sauvignon Blanc is going to cut the little acidity, or the little citrus acidity that is very, very that shows through in the cheese real nicely. So this pairing is going to be really, really great. This is probably going to be my favorite pairing of the first 3.
Okay. Calling that out now.
I am, because I know my taste and what I like.
So quick question for you. For everyone drinking Sauvignon Blanc, and because it varies in style, okay, would you pair a Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand with this same cheese?
I would have to taste it, but yes, because generally what I'm looking for is a wine that's going to be well-rounded but not too heavy, finishing with that kind of butteriness that Sauvignons will finish with. And generally something that has that slight herbaceousness. So like if I think of the Loire Valley and the Sauvignon Blancs from there, it's typical and traditional to have a lighter goat's milk cheese, and that herbaceousness, that herbaceous quality starts to really come alive and really show through the cheese real nicely when you pair that type of Sauvignon Blanc. So yeah, absolutely, New Zealand, and I love those Marble County Sauvignons.
Good stuff. Wine number 3, Domaine Jaume. And we had the pleasure to have Richard Jaume join us at PassionVines this year. This is probably one of our top sellers. La Friande translates to fresh. And this wine it's 100% stainless steel, Grenache, Syrah, and Carignan. What are we having with this?
Well, this is awesome because, you know, the stainless steel and the clean flavor of this screams out young sheep's milk cheese to me. Nothing too strong. You know, when you think sheep's milk cheeses, everybody's first thought is pecorinos from Italy. Sometimes they get a little bit too overpowering, a little bit too strong. But what I like is the cheeses from the Basque. So we went with an Ossau Iraty that's going to give you this kind of almost, you know, a very light earthiness, kind of that cave age quality, which the cheese, when the cheese is made in the co-op, they're
it's never easy opening these. Okay, little humor.
When the cheese is made by the co-op, they're stored in the caves, and so the rind of the cheese really adds to the flavor. So the cheese will be about 6 to 8 months old and have this rich creaminess, slight earthy character to it, and very clean flavor. So with a great, you know, simple, clean starter red like this, I think it's going to be beautiful. And I've done this a number of times with this particular wine.
And again, the pronunciation of this cheese again is?
Ossau Iraty. Some people come across and they'll say Ossau Iraty, Ossau Iraty. They're both acceptable.
Okay.
But you'll see plenty of different brands, but they're all Ossau Iraty. That's a type of sheep's milk cheese from the Basque. So you might see Agour, which is the brand that we have here. They're one of our favorites because Agour, they keep them aged in that 6 to 8 month range, where when they come to DiBruno's, if we want to age them to 12 months, we can, rather than buying a 12-month-old Ossau Iraty. You know, this is much more manageable for us, and we can age it ourselves.
Excellent, excellent.
Man, it's beautiful. Yeah, I'm never good at spitting.
No? Okay.
I hate to waste good wine like that. And what's perfect is when you're eating it and it starts to open up and it's laying on your tongue and it just coats it.
Right.
Does it? Because it's been out for about an hour or so. The temperature is really nice, and if you look closer on the cheese, it starts to sweat a little bit.
Right.
The little beads.
So tell me a little bit about that. You know, wine, people ask all the time, you know, what temperature should red or white be at? And, you know, traditionally, most Americans drink white wine too cold and red wine too warm. Right. And keep in mind, you know, room temperature came from back when, you know, people were drinking in caves.
Right.
You know, we serve, as we do at Passion Vines all the time, our red wines are served at 56 degrees and white wines traditionally 46. What is the right temperature for cheese?
Well, just like wines. Anywhere between 46 and 56 is perfect for cheese. And cheeses store very well in wine cellars as well. So you don't need to, look, if you have a wine cellar and you want to keep whole wheels in it, that's fine. They'll stay for months, forever. When you're home and your refrigerator is totally acceptable, but if you really want to take advantage of the full flavor of these cheeses, and if you take the time to chill your wines properly, then you want your cheeses to come to room temp and start to warm a little bit so that all that flavor is released. You really do.
Awesome.
Give them some time. About an hour out of the fridge and they're good to go.
Okay. All right. We're running a little short on time. So what I want to ask you, and for those of you who are joining us tonight, we're going to see it, and you're going to get to experience all of this. But DiBruno Brothers. What should people know about DiBruno Brothers? Well,
DiBruno Brothers we are now a third generation family business. My grandparents started this business back in 1939. I didn't know it when I was a little kid running up and down the Italian market, running in the store, mixing the beans, playing with the olives, making a mess, getting hollered at. You know, how spoiled I was and how privileged I was to grow up in a family that was always so focused on food. And you know, now I think back and I realize, you know, what it is that we had. You know, all the time that we spent together, really getting to know each other as a family was at the dinner table, right? And in the kitchen. And I took it for granted back then, but now I think back and, you know, everything that I've learned about food and my passion for food, like your passion for wine, just came from being with my grandparents and my family around the kitchen table. And now I realize, you know, where it all came from. It's you know, I go to work every day, really 6 days a week, and I could work 7, but my wife won't let me work on Sunday.
And it's like I don't even work. Right. You know, I'm like a kid in the candy store. I just have a great time every day.
Awesome. So. I often say that, you know, I've been was privileged to go away to high school, college experience, postgraduate education, and there's no better education than the one at the dinner table.
It's a truth.
I was privileged that way too. So
awesome.
Thanks for being here.
We're gonna have a great time.
You got it. Again, for those of you who will be with us tonight, we look forward to seeing you. Otherwise, we're tuning out. This is PassionVines TV.